Hello and welcome to the video. Before we get started, if you'd like to provide input on future content and get our weekly newsletter, click on our survey. The link will be below. We also have a report on Ethereum 2, along with a bonus report on why you should learn Solidity now. Again, the link will be below. Now on to the video, and thank you. Okay. So, I've been looking at the surveys as they come in. I've gotten quite a few, and one of the topics that people are very interested in is security. And since we've been talking about Elastos, I found this interesting article, The Virtual Secure World of Elastos, which goes through why Elastos is secure. So there are a couple of important points that they talk about. One thing is it's virtual. It's It's a network operating system. So it is device operating system agnostic. What does that mean? A device operating system is your iOS, your Windows. Runs on the device. The Elastos is a network operating system. It runs on top of the devices, and so it is agnostic. It doesn't care what the device has on it. It'll just do its thing, and it's in a way. We talked about merge mining, and that allows you to, of course, share the hashing without any additional work. So Bitcoin will hash, and that can be used by Elastos, as you can see in this diagram here. So what they talk about is how Bitcoin secures Elastos, which secures the side chain. I think that's what it was. But basically, it doesn't care what the device has, and it runs on top of the device. And it's also sandboxed. So something's running on Elastos, they're running on Elastos. The other thing is the DID, device ID sidechain. So there's one ID that secures everything. Everything has an ID, and that helps secure the system as well. They talk about as a universal ID, it's the entire internet, so it makes sense to merge mine ID sidechain with Elastos, which in turn merge mine with Bitcoin. So the simple ID sidechain, the DID sidechain, is now secured using the power of the Bitcoin network. So the other thing, as I said, is peer-to-peer, which means that everything's the Elastos devices, the devices running on Elastos are talking. The Elastos nodes are talking to other Elastos nodes. It's isolated, and as they say here, because the Elastos runtime lives completely isolated, its digital assets and data are protected within the environment, which means it can't directly access the internet, so that helps eliminate any attacks. So they talk about here what a device operating system is. Get rid of this. So the example they give, a device operating, because the operating system lives on the device, has only one device and one device only. For example, Bob's phone has iOS, Alice's phone has Android. Bob's phone cannot really operate Alice's phone. Doesn't matter. But with a network, the OS is the entire network. So again, it's its own thing, it's isolated, and the network, as they've described here, the network is the computer, instead of the device being the computer. So again, it controls the network traffic. And they go in here to the more of the structure of the Elastos. But there's one other thing I'd want to add on that. I mean, we've talked about that it's its own isolated virtual internet. I mean, I suppose it could be, you can think of it kind of like in some ways like a VPN, which has its own layer that your data travels on. It's the DIDs, the fact it takes advantage of the merge hash with Bitcoin. But there's one thing they didn't mention here that I think helps, and that's their fact that they use the, what do they call it? The delegate proof of stake. Because what they talk about in articles on proof of stake, delegated proof of stake, it allows for more nodes to get in on things because they're representative. It's not, it's not who has the most stake. It's they have to be chosen, and that's based on performance. So I believe that also, using delegated proof of stake, also helps in terms of security. So anyway, before we conclude, let's go back over again what we learned here. One, Elastos, that we've been talking about, it is a virtual internet. All the devices it runs on top of the devices, so it'll run the same. It doesn't care if you've got a Windows box, if you've got an iOS phone, an Android phone. Remember, we demonstrated the app, and that app, you can get it for Android or get it for Windows, and it does not care. The merge mine, hash power, the fact that it has its own device IDs, sidechain, the fact that it's sandbox, the fact that it's its own peer-to-peer network. And finally, something again they don't mention here. Again, this article's about 3 years old, so, but I haven't read anything that changes significantly what this gentleman wrote. The fact that it uses the delegate delegate proof of stake. So hopefully this has been helpful to you and get you a kind of a more overall understanding about Elastos. And we will be working, I think, on some actual hands-on stuff this weekend. Now that I had two, today and yesterday, I had 8-hour classes. This is unrelated to work, but of course it did not help that my car decided not to cooperate this morning when I tried to go in to work for a little bit. But anyway, off topic. Again, hopefully this has been helpful, and take care, and thank you for watching, and I will speak to you next time. Take care.